If you keep hesitating to get on video because you feel like you can't make it look good enough, then today I want to remind you that there is a great beauty in imperfections. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Liz and I help coaches and consultants add video to their business. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss my future content. Now you might be wondering, what is she talking about? The beauty of imperfection. And in fact, the entire idea for this video is based upon the fact that for the last 5 years when I've been scrolling on social media, what I've noticed is that the content that gets the most engagement and interest from the public is the stuff that is shot very naturally, very relatably. It is not the content that looks like it's produced in Steven Spielberg's studio or in some very fancy and expensive place. In fact, it is the stuff that people are just picking up their phones and shooting, or just casually creating on the go, or spending very little time with editing with. So these are the types of content that are actually drawing in their audiences. People watch this stuff and feel like it is an actual, real, natural person on the other side of the camera. So this is good news for you and me, my friend. This means that we can throw out those outdated ideas that we need to spend tons of time to polish up our videos, and instead we can get to work just putting out our content the way that it is. So let's jump right into it. Now I want you to consider that pretty content can actually stop a scroll, but imperfect content can actually sell. And what I mean by this is that very beautiful, well-branded, well-produced looking content, it absolutely will stop a person when they are scrolling, and they will stop to admire that and think to themselves, wow, this is really, good looking content. It looks like they've spent some time and effort for it. They might give it a like, but often they will just keep scrolling. Because the thing about highly produced content nowadays is that it creates a little bit of distance between that brand and the person that is scrolling. Usually the person that is scrolling is not somebody that has an expensive or fancy studio. They're not someone that has access to so many tools to make their own content look amazing. They're just a normal, everyday, ordinary person. So all of a sudden, that brand that they're seeing seems a little bit out of reach for them. It seems like a brand that's all the way over here. On the other hand, the content that is just shot just with a smartphone, with a handheld tripod, or just looking into the camera and saying something spur of the moment without a lot of edit or polish around it, that is the stuff that makes the person watching that think, wow, I could actually meet this person at a coffee shop one day. They seem very relatable. They seem like somebody that I know. They seem like somebody that I could jump on a Zoom call with and have a conversation regarding this problem that I want to get solved. So these are the reasons that imperfect, natural, spontaneous content actually gets more sales in the end. There's a lot of statistics to prove this. And this has changed a lot. If you're a person that was creating content 10, 15 years ago, you might still be stuck in this world where you feel like you need to create that type of, CBC style, boardroom style content. But if you're watching what is happening on social media, you'll see that that type of content nowadays is not working as well as more natural, in the moment content, and it's for this very reason. Next, I want you to consider the fact that perfection sometimes will kill the urgency. In order to create a piece of content that is highly produced and highly polished, it takes time, my friends. It's not something that you can just sit down and just pump out within 1.5 minutes. Instead of that, you have to do a lot of planning around the setup that you have, the lighting, you need some equipment, you need some gear, you have to be looking good, so you have to spend time preparing yourself. You might take that extra step to have a teleprompter or something to read off of. So all of that takes time to prepare, all of it takes time to set up, and it takes time to actually move through. Compare that to just picking up a handheld tripod like this, putting your phone into it, and then just talking to the camera, regardless of what you're wearing. Standing in front of a window and getting some natural light onto your face. Think about the difference in the time and the level of effort for these two pieces of content that I gave in those examples. So this is why when you are able to produce more spur of the moment, natural, spontaneous content, you can produce more of it, simply because it's easier to get out the door. It is easier for you to make in the moment without thinking about a lot of prep around it, and you can simply press publish on it and get it out the door. So if you make that comparison, consider the fact of how much more content you can put in front of your audience if you are willing to sort of reduce all of the polish and prep around it. If you're a solopreneur, you're either going to be in a situation where you feel like you have to edit and produce and polish all that content yourself, or you might be spending your hard-earned sales dollars on outsourcing that for somebody else to do. Now you have to pay them and wait for them to finish editing that content and send it back to you. How much easier is just creating a piece of content and just pressing publish on it yourself? Now, you don't have to take what I'm saying just for my word. You can, in fact, A/B test everything that I'm saying. I encourage you to take one piece of content and create it twice. One time, do it with a little bit more polish. Do a lot of planning around the setup and the look and the feel of it and spend a little bit more time editing it. And then the second time, create that same substance, that same content, but do it in a more natural and relaxed environment. Post both of them. See which one gets more engagement, which one gets more comments. What is the reaction to both of those pieces of content? You will probably notice that people will kind of like the prettier content and then keep scrolling. But the more natural, relatable content is going to cause people to actually send you a DM or to leave a comment there. Not only that, but in the minds of the audience watching, they are going to think, wow, this person is so brave. They literally just pressed record and started talking to the camera and posted this amazing thought. Think about the impression that you give to that person. In fact, my friends, anybody can build a great studio and have all of the bells and whistles to go along with that. If you have a little bit of time and effort and money, you can get that done. But not everybody has camera confidence. Not everybody has confidence to just press record in their t-shirt and then just get their message out there. That shows a different level of confidence and understanding about your own subject. So this means that when your audience sees that, they can actually read through that. They know that only an expert can just press record and start talking about their topic without thinking about polishing it all up. So this actually makes quite a difference to the mindset of your audience. Next, I want you to think about the sound over the aesthetics. Sometimes we don't prioritize as much other areas that really actually make a difference to your audience that is watching, and that is the audio quality and the actual tone of the message. The way that you are speaking, your inflection, the tone that you use, the words that you use, the vocabulary, the volume of it, whether you've added music in the background or not, all of that adds to the actual appeal and the relatability of the content. So sometimes we prioritize more the look and feel. We want to look amazing. We want our background to look amazing. And we spend more time thinking about that. But in fact, thinking about everything that has to do with the audio sense, that actually really makes a difference to the client. If you are speaking in a way that seems very natural, as if they are literally sitting on the other side of a coffee table with you, then that really makes a big impact to them. That goes a long way for them. So practice those type of skills so that you can speak naturally to the camera, don't have a lot of filler and unnecessary words, try to still sound warm and sound engaging. Spend a lot of time building those type of skills. Those skills are going to translate everywhere. They're not going to be just good on video. They're going to be good when you actually meet that person in real life. Imagine if somebody bumped into your YouTube channel, thought that you were amazing, followed you now on Instagram, came down your funnel, and finally booked a call with you, and now you're on Zoom with them. You want to show up exactly on Zoom the same way that you showed up in social media. That is when that person immediately feels like they've already known you. They've known you all along. They've seen all your content, and now you're having another conversation with them. This is how you become a familiar face to them, how you feel like an old friend, somebody that just lives across the street from them. Imagine how much closer that gap becomes between you being a stranger and you becoming somebody that they can actually work with. Now, one thing I want to encourage you to do is almost consider making all of your content as if you're sending a direct message. So what do I mean by this? Imagine you picked up your phone and you were sending a voice note to a friend and you're just trying to give her some advice or a thought that you have about something that she's struggling with, for example. Let's say that you want to make that 1 minute long. You don't want to be going on and on to your friend and talking for an hour about it. You just want to give her a quick thought, something to just, pique her interest, get her wheels turning because you know that she's struggling with a particular thing. So you're just sharing some advice. Think about the vibe behind that type of content. It's not like you would sit out and write a whole script before you leave a voice note for your friend, right? You wouldn't make 15 bullet points and do a ton of research or anything. You would be speaking from your own experience. You would be keeping it warm. You would have a very gracious tone to you because you're giving somebody advice who is struggling with a certain thing. You don't want to sound like a know-it-all, but you want to sound like you do know something about that topic. There's a whole bit of psychology that goes into that. Just think to yourself about some of the voice notes that you've left for some of your friends and what was your state of mind when you left that. Consider making content like that. Consider making content that doesn't feel like you sat at your table and planned it out for an hour and a half and now here you are putting it in front of them. Instead, make it sound as natural and laid back and easygoing as you possibly can. This is what is going to make your audience feel like you are the natural fit for them. They will feel like you are almost like their friend that leaves them voice notes, helping them along with these things that they're struggling with. It will be the most natural and easy thing in the world for them to book a call with you or to get on Zoom with you, because they will feel like you are already speaking to them in such a gracious way. You truly are there to help them move along in their journey. Now remember, our goal here is not to create ugly content. Our goal is just to show up as we are with all of our natural human imperfections. There's not a single person here that has a perfect look and feel and a perfect setup or a perfect camera to shoot with. We're all just normal, ordinary people trying to sell our business to normal, ordinary people. If you consider to yourself what the rise of TikTok has been like, if you think to yourself, what are the most popular and engaging viral content there, you'll see that none of it is the polished, produced stuff. It is all the stuff that some creator has literally been standing in their bedroom wearing their pajamas, pressing record and talking to their audience. The reason that type of content goes viral over and over again is because the person on the other side who is watching that feels like it is a normal person sharing normal thoughts in their normal environment without trying to sort of cover it up with all of the bells and whistles. This actually really, really goes far and makes a compelling message and note to your audience that you are a normal person showing up trying to help normal people like them. So if you like this video, I hope that you will give it a like, share it off with one of your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, because every single Tuesday, I bring you a new video teaching you how you can add video to your business. So until next time, take care.